The grace and wisdom he gave Joseph were recognized by Pharaoh, king of Egypt, who appointed him ruler over Egypt and over his whole palace. A famine came over all Egypt and Canaan, and great hardship came with it. Our ancestors had nothing to eat. When Jacob heard there was grain in Egypt, he sent our ancestors there for the first time. During their second visit, Joseph told his brothers who he was, and Pharaoh learned about Joseph's family. Joseph sent for his father Jacob and all his relatives, 75 in all, and invited them to live with him. So Jacob went down to Egypt, where he and our ancestors died. Their bodies were brought back to Shechem and placed in the tomb that Abraham had purchased for a certain sum of money from Hamor's elder who lived in Shechem. When it was time for God to keep the promise he made to Abraham, the number of our people in Egypt had greatly expanded. But then another king rose to power over Egypt who didn't know anything about Joseph. He exploited our people and abused our ancestors. He even forced them to abandon their newly born babies so they would die. That's when Moses was born. He was highly favored by God, and for 3 months his parents hid him in their home. His parents cared for him in their home. After he was abandoned, Pharaoh's daughter adopted him and cared for him as though he were her own child. Moses learned everything Egyptian wisdom had to offer, and he was a man of powerful words and deeds. When Moses was 40 years old, he went to visit his family, the Israelites. He saw one of them being wronged, so he came to his rescue and evened the score by killing the Egyptians. He expected his own kin to understand that God was using him to rescue them, but they didn't. The next day he came upon some Israelites who were caught up in an argument. He tried to make peace between them by saying, "You're brothers, why are you harming each other?" When he started the fight against his neighbor, pushed Moses aside and said, "Who appointed you as our leader and judge? Are you planning to kill me like you killed that Egyptian yesterday?" When Moses heard this, he fled to Midian, where he lived as an immigrant and had 2 sons. 40 years later, an angel appeared to Moses in the flame of a burning bush in the wilderness near Mount Sinai. Enthralled by the sight, Moses approached to get a closer look, and he heard the Lord's voice, "I am the God of your ancestors, the God of Abraham,